Hello children, we have already read about road transport. Today we will read about railway transport. So next comes railway transport. The first railway was started on 16th April 1853 from Bombay to Thane for a distance of about merely 34 km. Railways were initially introduced for trading by the Britishers. They helped in carrying both passengers and freight. They also help to develop the areas that they pass through and promote national integration. Now, what are the advantages of railways? Firstly, they facilitate long distance travel and also help in the transport of bulky goods since railway has a huge carrying capacity. They are quick, speedy, as well as more regular and certain. They hasten the industrialization process of the country for easy transportation. Raw materials can be carried from one place to other place very faster, and that too at the cheaper rate. They help in the quick movement of goods, both raw material as well as finished goods. They are safe means of transportation. Accidents are not so frequent. There are minimum breakdowns. They encourage mobility of labor. Even laborers can move from one place to another. As such, they also help. There's a scope, or they provide the scope of employment. Their carrying capacity is large, as more and more wagons can be connected. The costs calculated and tariffs are set based on the carrying capacity. Passengers prefer to travel by train because it is much more comfortable, and their washrooms are there. People can sleep through the overnight journeys, and as such they are much more comfortable. Then what are the disadvantages of railways? Firstly, setting up a railway railway or a railway track or the stations, overall railway system is quite a costly affair. Railway transport is inflexible. They cannot go to remote place. They cannot be set up in each and every type of topography. Railway transport cannot provide door-to-door facility. Railway transport is unsuitable and uneconomical for short distances. Railway transport is more time-taking and labor-intensive. Huge capital investment is required. Full load is required for railway to operate. You cannot fill one or two wagons and carry on the whole railway system. Railways have centralized operation. So it is either the central government or the state government operating it. Now railways again have certain restriction, like they need a level land. High density of population is required for its operation, and rich agricultural land is engulfed by railways. The railways are less developed among the plateau region because it is rocky land. Laying down the railway lines are very difficult over here. Assam, Bihar, Himalayas, the Deccan and the Run of Kutch region, these regions are not suitable for it. Presence of main rivers are a hindrance because we require bridges so that railways can operate over there. Owing to the ruggedness of the land, the Himalayas are not favorable for the railways. In Run of Kutch, there is a huge amount of sand, and this again restricts the operation of railways. Port areas are linked with railways for carrying of raw materials and finished goods. There are 4 major railway zones: northern, eastern, southern and western. Now we have 3 types of railway gauges: broad gauge, meter gauge, narrow gauge. Narrow gauge railways are mainly found on these mountain roads: Kalka, Shimla and Siliguri, Darjeeling area. The Indian Railways operate on 3 different gauges, thereby causing delay in transport of freight and passengers. Currently, tracks are not been able to carry increased loads, which on turn often lead to frequent accidents. As a result, maintenance of tracks are very necessary, and old bridges are to be repaired. Otherwise, these accidents can be very, very frequent as well as fatal. Next comes water transport. The oldest and the cheapest mode of transport is water transport. Capital investment is very less, and because the mode of construction and maintenance is very less, therefore the cost of operation is also very less. Now we have major inland waterways are National Highway number 1, which is from Allahabad to Haldia. Then there are many national highways, number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, operating in different parts of India. Now, what are the factors which affect water transport? Firstly, presence of perennial flowing river. If the water is not flowing throughout the year, water transport cannot be carried. Presence of waterfall and cataracts in the course of river is a strict no for waterway. Need for desilting, which is costly affair. If silt is being deposited, ships or boats cannot move, so desilting is very important. Reduction in the volume of water, which when river is diverted, if the river is diverted, the amount of water get less. At that time, water transport is damaged. Waterways should be made on economically viable mode of transport, so because it need passengers to be taken. Now, what are the advantages? Rivers are natural highways and do not incur any cost of construction. So obviously it is very cheap mode or economical mode. Waterways have a larger capacity for carrying heavy and bulky goods. Waterways are more flexible service than railways, not roadways minded. The risk of accidents and breakdown is much less. But again, there are disadvantages. These are the slowest means of transport. Waterways can be used only in areas where there are deep canals. Rivers and canals that are seasonal cannot be used. The changing course of river can cause a disruption. Waterways are not suitable for small businesses. So we see waterways always, although they have a lot of advantages, again they have a lot of disadvantages also, which can cause a hindrance in the movement of the either passengers or in the goods also.